And here's your host, Steve Shedler.
Yeah! Woo! 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 Hey! Hey! Good morning to you, Southeast Iowa. Steve hanging out with you live at Shetler Studios here on Steve Shetler Media with the Morning Wake Up. And hopefully you are off to a good start today on this rainy, possibly slick start to our Tuesday here in Southeast Iowa. Let's get a look at our forecast as it's brought to us by the Garden Gate. And Garden Gate brought to us, I should say, Garden Gate is located, easy for me to say, at 105 South Jefferson in Sigourney, 641-622-3191. Get a hold of Cindy, maybe Danny, possibly Madonna at the Garden Gate. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays 9 to noon. They've got fresh floral arrangements. They've got jewelry, home decor, sympathy gifts, something for everybody. They got Hawkeye stuff. They got Iowa State stuff. I think they have some baseball stuff for you baseball fans. They've got a little bit of everything at the Garden Gate. Stop in and get your order in for Valentine's Day. That'll be here before you know it. So, our forecast, it's not good for Valentine's Day because it's anything but lovely. See what I did there? Play on words. Winter weather advisory for today, and that goes until noon. Today, mostly cloudy, snow, chance of rain, chance of freezing rain. Woohoo! Lovely. Areas of fog, little or no snow accumulation, a trace of ice accumulation, which makes things very tricky. You don't know if there's ice there or just wet conditions. Steady temps in the mid-30s today, and east winds only around 5 miles per hour. So be careful out there. Could possibly be slick, especially in untreated areas. I saw this morning the city folks going by, checking out the roads, maybe putting down a little bit of stuff on the roadways to keep things from getting too bad. So thumbs up to those guys. Those guys and the county guys and the state guys have been taking care of our roads tremendously here in the last few weeks. Tonight, cloudy skies, areas of dense fog, chance of some rain, freezing rain after midnight. Again, could be a trace of the slick stuff. Cold for tonight, and, really not too bad. Temps will stay in the 30s for tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy, patchy fog, rain or freezing rain in the morning again. Chance of some afternoon rain tomorrow. Again, a trace of icy accumulation tomorrow. Temps still hanging in the 30s. Tomorrow night, again, a chance of rain. Steady temps in the 30s. And then Thursday, cloudy, a chance of rain. Steady temps in the 30s. So our forecast going to be staying the same for the next few days, which I don't know, that's not really a good thing. At least temperatures are in the 30s. But that does lend itself to some possible slick conditions. Winter weather advisory for today. Let's get you the info on that. As a winter weather advisory in effect till noon. Mixed precip. Could see a light glaze of some ice accumulation with that rain going on. Plan on slippery road conditions. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be safe and go slow down the roadways instead of coming up on somebody or a stop sign or something where you have to slam on your brakes and then you find out it's slick and you run into somebody. So don't do that. Be careful. Hazardous conditions could impact the morning commute. I saw several schools are going to be starting late today, so be advised of that. Slow down. Use caution. Latest road conditions always available for you from 511. So call, check the website, use the app for the 511 traveling conditions. Otherwise, currently we have humidity at 96%, wind speeds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, the old barometer at 30.12, and 32 degrees currently here in Southeast Iowa, right at that point where, again, you don't know if it's going to be slick or not. So if you're getting out and about today, even just stepping outside, it could be slick. Don't want you to fall if you're going outside. So be careful, test it out, maybe take a few little baby steps to see what the conditions are. No need to hurt yourself or others. Our forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate in the big town of Sigourney, Iowa, where we are broadcasting from on this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, January 23rd. Hey, coming up later on today, we will put up our question of the day. It's brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa at 202 North Main in Sigourney, where you can call or text for an appointment, 622-3772. They've got hair, spa services, extensions, products, tanning. And your question, that'll go up later on today. At what temperature do you feel comfortable in your house? What do you think? Is it like 70, 69, 68, 71, 72 and a half? That'll go up later on today. I'm sure we'll get a wide variety of responses on that. That'll go up during the noon hour. Your question of the day brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa. Other stuff coming up this week here on Steve Shetler Media. Our Iowa Music Showcase live at Barnwired this Friday from 11:30 to noon. Will feature Day's live music, like day, not night, but day. And Day is a super talented young lady. Day's live music will be live at Barnwired in Sigourney this Friday from 11:30 to noon. We'll do a live interview, get some original tunes from Day. So tune in, stop in at Barnwired on Friday, or tune in here on Steve Shetler Media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for our Iowa Music Showcase. Coming up later on this evening, right here on Steve Shetler Media. The forecast and the weather better allow us to get this in. I know all the high schools are backlogged on their sports and activities with the way the weather has not cooperated the last few weeks. Everybody's trying to get in stuff right now. And Keota will be hosting English Valleys in high school basketball tonight. Girls at 6, followed by the boys. Of course, those Keota boys, highly ranked, undefeated. We'll see if that can continue tonight. English Valleys at Keota. We'll have it live here on Steve Shetler Media. What else we got coming up this week? We've got the sports section live at Brothers Market in Sigourney on Saturday morning, featuring Sigourney basketball. The Sigourney, I believe, boys basketball team is our feature for this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. live at Brothers Market. So make sure you tune in. Saw Rick and all the fine folks at Brothers Market just yesterday. My mom and I went out and did some grocery shopping. So stop into Brothers Market all the time for your grocery needs, and you can stop in and watch. Yeah, we don't really usually get a crowd that gathers and watches the sports section, but you sure can if you want. If you want to pop in there and watch for a little bit and then get your groceries, you sure can. Or, of course, I've heard from numerous people that they kind of look forward to the sports section on Saturday morning. They get up, they get their breakfast, their bowl of cereal, their cup of coffee, and then they put the sports section up on their big screen TV and they watch things. So, yeah, do what you want. Do what's good for you with the sports section coming up on Saturday morning here on Steve Shetler Media. I'm trying to think, am I missing anything else? Oh, got a pretty heated battle going on our Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Facebook poll for the Athlete of the Week. Tons of athletes have been nominated this week. We included EBF, Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, EBF, and Montezuma. Those schools have joined the ranks of different athletes, high school athletes that we are going to put up on our Athlete of the Week poll. So it's loaded. I mean, there's wrestlers, there's basketball players, there's bowling, there's archery. Everything is represented on our Athlete of the Week poll. So get your votes in. Lots of votes this week and pretty evenly dispersed. There's a couple of young ladies. Actually, one from EBF and one from Cardinal that seem to be the two that are going to be duking it out this week. And some others that are still in play. But we'll see how things workout on the Athlete of the Week. Okay, anything else coming up this week? Trying to think. Don't think so. You know, I was going to tell you guys. Two things, actually. One is, I don't know if you saw, I put up kind of late last night. At least late for me. It was like 10 o'clock. I don't see 10 o'clock very often, but I put up a thing right before I went to sleep last night of the fact that I've reached 550,000 people in the last month with content from Steve Shetler Media. 550,000. Over 500,000. Bonkers. So thank you for helping me out and helping me reach a ton of people with some great content here on Steve Shetler Media. I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that to all my contributors and all my viewers and all my sponsors. You guys are rocking it, as we mentioned yesterday morning. The other thing I was going to tell you about, little insider information here. But did you know, I'm covering Keota basketball this winter here on Steve Shetler Media. Did you know? See, I want to follow the Keota boys especially as far as they go in the postseason. But just to give you some insight on how things work, the state, the Iowa High School Athletics Association, I'm just learning this stuff this year as we go because, I'm 5 months into this. Did you know that the Iowa High School Athletic Association charges media outlets like myself, like radio stations, other live streamers, stuff like that? They charge each of those for a postseason game $400 to be able to broadcast the game. So, again, if I'm going to, and that's per game. So, in theory, if the Keota boys go on a run that gets them, well into the tournament, I have to pay the state $400 each game. So I have to make that up in sponsors and advertisers. And you have to hit that. I try to keep my prices pretty low. I don't want to overcharge. But dang, $400 per game. That's steep. So, yeah. Hopefully we'll get enough sponsors to make that possible through the postseason run for the Keota boys. We'll see about that. But I'm not saying, oh, woe is me. I'm just saying, oh, woe is everybody in media that has to pay that amount per game to cover your local sports teams. I mean, that's hard to do. It's crazy. Good morning to you, Kurt and Kathy. Good morning to you, Sherry, Sandy, Eloise, Cindy. Yeah, Kathy, it is crazy. That is expensive. So, yeah, relying on the advertisers to make it feasible money-wise for me, because you have to pay to do all this. You're paying people to help you out, gas, food. It all adds up. But we will see what happens there. Let's go ahead and do our birthday. Happy birthday. Glug, glug, glug. Happy birthday. All right. Enough with the party favors. Birthdays for today. Not a ton. Either I don't know many of these celebrities, or there's just not many big-name celebrities today. Richard Dean Anderson. Does that name ring a bell? He is MacGyver, the original MacGyver. MacGyver turning 74 years old today. We've got Robin Zander from Cheap Trick turning 71. We've got Eric Metcalf. Look at that little Metcalf run. Eric Metcalf, former NFL player. He was a little guy, and he was fast. Played for the Browns and other teams. 56 years old now for Eric Metcalf. I can remember I always wanted to get Eric Metcalf on my fantasy team back in the day. I liked him. I liked his style of being a running back. Let's see here. Tiffany Thiessen. Tiffany Thiessen. Tiffany Thiessen. Thiessen? I think it's Thiessen. Saved by the Bell. 90210. Tiffany is 50. 50 years old for Tiffany Thiessen. Let's see here. And also football player J.T. Barrett played for Ohio State. I don't know. Did he go to the NFL? I know he was drafted. Didn't he go to the Redskins or something like that? He's 29 years old right now. So happy birthday to J.T. On this date in history, again, today is January 23rd, 1789, Georgetown University, founded in what is now Washington, D.C. So Georgetown University, brought to life on this date. It was today, 1845, Congress decided that all national elections were to be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. That was some weird wording. Of course, it's going to be the first Tuesday after the first Monday. What? In November. Big election coming up in November, in case you didn't know. DeSantis dropping out yesterday. What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you guys like 5 months ago when we started doing this? Everybody knows it's coming down to Trump and Biden. Trump, Biden 2. The fight for America. Pay-per-view. Celebrity death match. We'll see what happens in November. We'll see where DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, where they all end up on the side of Trump. We'll see if Trump wins, if they end up being part of his cabinet and all that stuff. Also on this date in 1916, Montana set the world's record for a temperature change in 24 hours. They went, again, this is Montana, 1916. They went from 44 degrees above zero to 56 degrees below zero. That's a 100-degree change in 24 hours. That was 1916 in Montana. Funny thing is, some of the kids were outside playing during that time. They were playing freeze tag. And then they actually froze. Oh, let's see here. I don't utilize the laugh track nearly enough. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful studio audience. Today, 1957, American inventor Walter Frederick Morrison sold the rights to his flying disc to the Wham-O toy company. Of course, a flying disc, you know that, ended up being the Frisbee. I bet Walter Frederick Morrison would like to have that back. I bet he would like to sell the Frisbee on his own. I'm sure just a few Frisbees have been sold over the years. 1960, on this date, the world's deepest ocean dive ever took place. They went down nearly 36,000 feet in the depth of the ocean. They were looking for the captain's sunglasses at the time. I don't know if they found them. Oh boy, I'm on a roll today. Crowd is loving it. Thank you. Today, according to the National Day calendar, today is National Handwriting Day. Do you have good handwriting? Or do you write like a doctor writing a prescription? It's also Measure Your Feet Day. I don't think I can stretch my feet up far enough to get them up on camera. You wouldn't want to see them anyway. My feet are... all feet are gross, not just mine. Every foot in the world is disgusting. Get your feet away from me. And it's also National Pie Day. I like pie. I like cherry pie. Apple pie, pumpkin pie. Make sure you got some Cool Whip. What else we got going on here? I've just been blabbering on quite a bit this morning. By the way, did you know, according to a foot specialist, Dr. Nancy Sachs, she says, if your second toe is larger than your others, like if it's longer, you ever see those feet? Second toe just kind of, everything quick. every other toe quit growing right about here, but the second toe just kind of kept on going. If that is you, according to this foot specialist, that says that you're the dependable conservative type who always keeps your emotions in check. So if you got that second toe that it continues to grow, means you're a good person, evidently. Good morning to you, Cindy. Good morning to you, Jenny. Come on, anybody in the comments want to admit that they have one of those freakishly long second toes? Things you need to know, Jody Star Wars news. Jodie Foster says that yes, she was offered the role of Princess Leia way back when in Star Wars, but she had to turn it down because she was under a commitment to a Disney film. Now, of course, Disney now owns Star Wars. They didn't, however many years ago that the original Star Wars came out, but could have seen Jodie Foster as Princess Leia. Other news, things you need to know. Max, the streaming app for HBO, Max has canceled The Flight Attendant after 2 seasons. That People has confirmed that. Other stuff you might need to know, according to a new survey, says in the UK, let's see here, only 19% of millennials, which according to this are adults the ages of 26 to 35, want to have kids someday. If that is the case, this world is in trouble. Why do those kids not want to get married and have kids of their own? I don't know. Kids these days. It is okay to get married and to have children, people. Go ahead and do it. Other stuff. A TV graphic on a TV show in Canada has been causing a stir amongst sports fans. When it reported last week, the headline said, like my little ticker down here at the bottom with the stuff streaming across there. I should have put this up because it said Reba McEntire, Usher, and Post Malone slated to perform at San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl matchup on February 11th. And they're stating that as a fact. Of course, if you're a fan of the NFL, you know that the playoffs are still going. We don't actually know who's going to be in the Super Bowl yet, but that TV station in Canada, maybe they are prophetic. Maybe it's all rigged. Some people are convinced that the NFL is rigged. But evidently, that the graphic went up on the TV saying, on that there TV in Canada, stating that the Super Bowl would have the 49ers and the Ravens, which could happen. We'll find out. I think, is it after this weekend we get the matchup? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Or maybe somebody was in a time traveling machine and found out and came back and put it on the Canadian sports show. I don't know. Other news, speaking of sports, there's nothing official yet, but there's talk of turning the Super Bowl into a pay-per-view event. Really? I have not heard of that. I mean, it would, for the people in charge, can you imagine the amount of money that they would make if they turned the Super Bowl into a pay-per-view? I mean, people would be some ticked off. They can't do that, could they? No. Travis Kelce said to be getting offers that if he is not playing in the Super Bowl, that he would attend a Super Bowl party for excess of $1 million. So I need to talk to my wife about that, see if we got that in the budget. If we have a Super Bowl party, I wonder if we could have Travis Kelce come over for $1 million, hang out. I don't know. I want to get his brother. It was Jason that was on TV the other night with his shirt off up in the suite, having a good old time. The Kelce brothers together. Let's do that. Let's see here. Good morning to you, Deb. Thanks for hanging out in the comments. Census data shows that the average American family spends about $270 a week on groceries. $270. For families with kids, that goes up to about $3.31 a week. So, yeah, groceries are ridiculous. Remember when prices just went sky high back during COVID in 2020? Toilet paper became outrageous. Cereal became outrageous. Everything became outrageous. And they all claimed it, is due to COVID. COVID's been over. I mean, yeah, that could be an argument in itself. But when COVID was the thing, and now it's not the thing, why aren't prices coming back down? Let's revolt, people. It's ridiculous. Doobie Brothers, they plan on a 50th anniversary tour this summer. Michael McDonald will be singing, and they're going to be hitting 38 cities this summer. They'll start out in Seattle in June. Sounds like they'll be joined by Steve Winwood, amongst others. Let's see here. Big weekend for Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina. Not only did he announce that he was endorsing Donald Trump for president, surprise, surprise, he also got engaged to his girlfriend. So, way to go, Tim. Mission Impossible. If you're a fan of Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning didn't do so hot in theaters, but it will start streaming on Paramount Plus this Thursday. You might want to check into that. And then the lead singer of the Shangri-Las, Mary Weiss, died over the weekend at the age of 75. Now, their biggest hit, Leader of the Pack. Vroom, vroom. Mary Weiss of Shangri-Las, dead at the age of 75. Time now for today's Impossible question. It's impossible. Is this impossible? You tell me. More than half of workers polled said that they wish their workplace would upgrade this. What is it? What is it? More than half of workers polled said they wish their workplace would upgrade this. What is it? It is the coffee. People want their coffee upgraded. I don't drink coffee. I obviously drink unhealthy soda pop to get my caffeine in the morning. But, yeah, people want better coffee at work. Time for...
That is weird.
Some weird stuff. Let's do some... Boy, I am just... Chatty Cathy today. Chitty chatty. Chee. I'm 7:28 and I'm not even close to being done. Thanks for hanging out, though, on a Tuesday. I mean, what else you got to do today? Slick out. Slicker than snot. Weird news. Being in good shape to complete a full marathon, which is 26.2 miles, at the age of 52 is impressive. I mean, really impressive. I'm going to be 52 this year. I have run some half marathons, but I would not be running a half marathon this year. But the funny thing is, you go over to China. 52-year-old did it in 3 hours and 33 minutes in China, and he did it while chain smoking the entire race. They call him Uncle Chen, and he did this during a marathon that I can't pronounce in China earlier this year, but apparently it was all for naught. He's been disqualified. Uncle Chen reportedly smoking on the track was the reason for the disqualification. So, chain smoking the entire half marathon, 3.5 hours, 26.2 miles, and he got disqualified. That's a bummer. Let's see here. Other weird news. A retired teacher has had her pension payments stopped 4 times because her pension provider repeatedly refuses to accept that she is not dead. She's like, hey, ho, I'm not dead. Eileen McGrath, 85 years old, was left without income over Christmas when teachers' pensions, let's see here, which administrators' payments on behalf of the UK government wrongly matched her with a deceased stranger. So Eileen McGrath trying to get her pension. She's 85, and they think that she's dead, so they're cutting her off. She's not dead. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Another weird news, the British delivery service, DPD, has disabled part of their online support chatbot after it swore at a customer. during a chat. The parcel delivery firm uses artificial intelligence in its online chat to answer questions in addition to, along with human operators. But a new update caused it to behave unexpectedly, including swearing and criticizing the company that developed it. DPD said it had disabled the part of the chatbot that was responsible, and it was updating its system as a result. How'd you like to have artificial intelligence joking, cursing, and making fun of the company that you were talking to on its behalf? Did you hear about the lady that really likes Stanley Cups? These Stanley Cups that are all the rage, the big fad at the moment. Police in Roseville, California, last week announced that an arrest was made after workers at a local retail store spotted a woman leaving the establishment with a shopping cart crammed with the beverage containers without making the stop at the cash register. She just bypassed paying for this cart of Stanley Cups. Cops were called. One officer spotted the suspect as she tried to turn onto a nearby highway. It was evident because Stanley Cups were falling out of the vehicle. They say when the suspect's car was searched, they turned up 65 Stanley products worth about $2,500. Let's see here. The 23-year-old woman arrested on suspicion of grand theft. Oh, let's do one more weird story today. We could do a few. Some headlines include baby born at side of New Jersey road during the winter storm. We've got a dog helps rescue Michigan man who fell through ice on a lake. We've got a yogurt company offering $10,000 for a 1-month digital detox. But we'll go with this one. The headline for this story is Man Fatally Stabs Neighbor Amid Feud Over Loud Snoring. A 55-year-old man in Pennsylvania has been arrested for allegedly killing his neighbor, stabbing the 62-year-old man in what authorities said was the culmination of a nearly 2-year feud over loud snoring. Officers responded to a 911 call Monday regarding a stabbing at a residence. Once there, first responders said they located the homeowner outside about 50 feet away from the home. He appeared to have suffered multiple stab wounds. Officers said they recovered a large military-style knife. Yeah, I'm thinking Rambo right now, or Crocodile Dundee. You think that's a knife? Let's see. At the home, police also found a window screen that appeared to have been removed from a window by the front door and tossed onto a nearby grassy area. The window with the removed screen was open when police arrived. The victim had been eating dinner at the time, so I mean, that had to be some really loud snoring, and mix it with a bunch of crazy, and you got a neighbor killing the other neighbor with a knife for loud snoring. I'm glad that guy isn't my neighbor. I'm glad I have my neighbors in my neighborhood, which everybody seems to get along pretty good. Let's see here. Files of Law and Disorder. In some disorder today. Yeah, I think that previous story would have been good for this, but we'll go with this one out of Kansas. A Kansas couple has been charged with fraudulently collecting more than $215,000 in retirement benefits on behalf of a dead relative while they concealed his body inside their home for 6 years. His body became mummified. So they kept the dead body in the house so they could collect his retirement benefits. Yeah.
That is weird.
And weirdos. Sickos. Creeps. Let's do some good news. Dozens of families across El Paso. Little Marty Robbins for you this morning. Dozens of families across El Paso County, it's got to be in Texas, right? Will soon be eligible for $500 monthly cash payments after county commissioners unanimously agreed to set aside $500,000 for a pilot guaranteed income program. Where do I sign up for that? Good morning to you, Ron. Again, families in El Paso County, Texas, would be eligible for $500 monthly because they've set up a guaranteed income program. The county will contract with Up Together, a nonprofit organization that advocates for cash assistance to low-income Americans. Maybe they could just go out and get a job. This is supposed to be the good news segment. And I'm telling them to go out and get a job. I am a mean person. Let's do some duh.
Duh. Duh. Duh.
Duh. How about this? And then we'll get out of here because I probably offended a lot of people today. 2 Royal Navy warships collided in Bahrain at the end of last week. I don't know where Bahrain is. Because one was incorrectly rewired, meaning that it unexpectedly went into reverse when it should have went straight ahead. Icebug! Dead ahead! The mine hunter HMS Chiddingfold went backwards, backed right into the HMS Bangor, which was lying at port, ripping a hole in a cabin above the waterline. Evidently, they didn't hear the little beep, beep, beep noise when it was backing up. Let's see here. Nobody was hurt in the incident, and the Navy said late on Friday evening it was investigating, so we'll give them a duh again.
Duh.
More duh.
Duh.
Duh. Top of the morning to you, Jason. Hey, top of the morning. Again, it could be slick out there today, folks. Let's see here. My computer is doing weird things right now. Let's again look at a forecast. It's brought to us, as always, by the Garden Gate and Sigourney Winter Weather Advisory. Be advised, could be slick. Slick as snot. How slick is snot? That's a question I would like to pose. How slick is your snot? Cloudy skies today, chance of some rain, freezing rain, could be slick, so be advised of that. Just kind of the same forecast for the next few days. Chance of rain about every day. Temps going to stay in the 30s, so could hover right around the freezing mark. So you don't know. You don't know whether it's going to be just wet or icy. So be safe. Be careful. Take it easy out there. Again, coming up later on tonight, we'll have Keota Eagles basketball, assuming that the weather allows. Hopefully we get some English Valleys at Keota basketball tonight here on Steve Shetler Media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Girls start at 6, followed by the boys. So make sure you tune in tonight for that. Otherwise, coming up today, we've got the In Remembrance Of video at 8 a.m. We got What's Happening? What's happening in Southeast Iowa? That's at noon. We'll have our question of the day by Amy's Salon House and Spa. And then basketball tonight. So tune in. We got a bunch of stuff coming up here on the old Steve Shetler Media. Okay, that does it for me. I'm going to get out of here. You guys be safe out there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for the morning wake up.